thank you all for coming. My name is Dr. Yvette Bordeaux, and I am the Director of the Master of Science in Applied Geosciences program here at the University of Pennsylvania. We have with us today Sally Carty, who is our Administrative Director, and she will be answering questions in the chat. If you have questions during the session, you can, I think you're not really able to use your mic, but you can put questions in the Q&A board, or also you can also look in the webinar chat for answers to your questions. So we also have with us today in the attendee group Tony Sauter, who is one of our academic advisors, and we have Ross Murata, who is our administrative assistant or coordinator, administrative coordinator. So lots of folks here today, and we also have Akila Abdul Rahman, who is our admissions specialist. So lots of folks to help you as you have questions. If I see a question that I think I can answer very quickly as we go through, I'll go ahead and shout it out. And if not, Sally or Ross or so forth will answer in the chat or the Q&A. All right, so I'd like to get started. And again, welcome to this info session about the Applied Geosciences program. We now have, in addition to our Master of Science in Applied Geosciences program, we also have a certificate in engineering geology, a certificate in environmental hydrogeology, and a course taking option where you can just take some courses with no degree plans whatsoever. All right, so we're going to get started. And again, feel free to ask questions as we go. All right, so a little bit about the Applied Geosciences program at the University of Pennsylvania. We started the master's program in 2005, so we have nearly 20 years of geology here in the department. We have over 175 alumni who are out there working, not just in the US, but around the world. We are part of the School of Arts and Sciences. There are 12 schools within the university. School of Arts and Sciences is the largest of the 12 schools. And we are housed in the Department of Earth and Environmental Science. And here's a picture of our building, Hayden Hall, where our offices are. Just a little bit of a history of our Applied Geosciences program here at Penn. Again, the MS in Applied Geosciences started in 2005. And in 2022, we moved the program completely online. So before that, it was all on campus. And we got a lot of requests from folks over the years to move it online so that people could stay in the positions or jobs that they're in now and get the degree and without having to move to Philadelphia for 2 years. So in 2022, we actually did that. And we had our first cohort come in 2022. And then this year, fall 2024, we'll be starting our course taker and certificate options. So another option for all of you. The Applied Geosciences are a professional program, and that means that our focus is on helping you develop professionally. Our program areas are environmental geology, engineering geology, and hydrogeology. We do not do petroleum or mining, but if you want to clean that up, we're there for you. All right, so a little bit about the course taker and certificate options. And just as a note, Sally is putting a few links into the webinar chat in case you want some more information about the things I'm talking about as we go. All right, so the course taker option is an opportunity for you to just come in and take a course, all right? With no obligation, you're not getting into a degree or a certificate, you're just taking a course. And this is a great option when you need to learn more about a specific area of geosciences. So say you just need to learn a little bit more about hydrology or a little bit more about modeling groundwater flow. This might be the option for you. You don't need a whole degree. You just need to just take a couple of courses. And it also helps you decide if an online learning is right for you. So maybe you're like, I'm thinking about a master's degree, but I'm not sure online is for me. This would be a great opportunity to just try one out, see if you like it. And then if it's like, yep, I'm in for the long haul, you can switch over to the master's degree. All right. Now, in the course taker option, you can take 2 courses as a course taker, just taking some random courses to see what you think. And then you can, at that point, you can apply to a certificate or to the MS degree and apply those courses towards those. So in other words, if you took 2 courses as a course taker and you decide you want to complete a certificate, we'll shift you over to the certificate program, and then you take 2 more courses and you have a certificate. If you're like, no, I want to do the master's degree, we can shift you over to the MS degree, and those 2 courses will count towards that master's degree. All right, so you're not losing anything by taking the course taker option. Also, an academic advisor will be assigned to you when you're entering the program, and they'll work with you to plan for the future. So if it's like, yeah, I'm not sure, I might want to do this eventually, they can help you select your courses appropriately. All right. And they can also guide you through the process of moving from course taker to certificate to master's degree, or whatever option you want to follow. Now, in terms of the certificates themselves, they're a focused study in a specific area. And there are 2 options, engineering geology and hydrogeology. Each one requires 4 courses. Now, the engineering geology certificate is an ideal for scientists and engineers working in the geotechnical engineering field. It helps develop skills to evaluate rock and soil stability, foundation bearing capacities, geologic hazards, other engineering geology challenges that you might face. So that might be the right one for you if you fall into that category. You have to take 4 courses, and here's a list of the options, including landslides, geocomp, which is basically calculus for geologists. So if you're, a little bit weak on your math and you want to get a little bit stronger in it, it's a really terrific course to take. Applied and environmental geophysics, geomechanics, engineering geology, and applied engineering geology. So you'll select 4. Again, you'll have an advisor that will be working with you each semester to select your courses, and it will really be based on your goals and needs for this certificate. Why are you taking it? How is this going to help you in your career? For the hydrogeology certificate, it's ideal for environmental scientists, geologists, and engineers who want additional expertise in ground and surface water, including water source protection and development, aquifer testing, solute transport modeling, environmental remediation, and watershed management. Quick question from Amanda. Does completing classes as a course taker guarantee you acceptance to the certificate or master's program? If you do well in the courses, so in other words, you meet the minimum grade requirements, yes, you can move into the other programs. It's a good question. Okay, for the hydrogeology certificate, again, you take 4 of the following courses. You get to choose, and again, we have an advisor that will help you select based on your professional goals, your background, and what you'd like to do with this certificate. So you can see here the list of courses. Now, just so you know, some people are like, well, which one should I go for? I'm not really sure. So this is sort of a breakdown. Course takers are, take courses specific to your needs. Oh, I just need a course in geophysics. It's all I need. And then I'm done. Totally fine. Come on in, take a course. It's going to help you in your career. If later on, maybe a year, 2 years down the road, you decide, yeah, maybe I'll get a certificate, we can apply that geophysics course to your certificate if you're doing engineering geology. And again, or if later on you decide, yeah, I'd like to pursue the master's now, we can apply that course to the master's degree. So you're not losing anything by doing the course taker option. And again, it gives you an opportunity to try it out, see how you do, and make sure this is right for you. So it's also up to 2 courses can be used towards either the master's degree or a certificate. So again, it's a really great option. The next option is a certificate, and this is great for specializing in an area. If you already know that you really just need to be specializing in engineering geology, you don't need that whole master's degree to get what you need for your career, then that's the one to go with, okay? Its courses can be used towards the master's degree afterwards, so you can apply all 4 courses from the certificate towards the master's degree. All right, and then finally, the master's degree is best if you want to improve your credentials. It's great for career development, and also it removes a year from PG licensure in the United States. So if you're looking to get your professional geologist license down the road, there's a certain number of years that you have to work under a PG or a PE in order to get to the point where you can take the PG exam. And any master's degree in geology across the country will take 1 year off that requirement, okay? It also will help you if you haven't even taken the Fundamentals of Geology exam yet. We have courses that will help you with that and help you to become eligible to take the exam, all right? So lots of good reasons to take the master's degree. All right. Right, and I think I'm just going to move that out there. And again, Sally's putting some great links in the chat if you're interested. Okay, so for the master's degree, we've learned a little bit about the certificates and the course taker options. Now for the master's degree, the curriculum actually requires 12 courses, and that's equivalent to 36 semester hours. It's 9 required courses that expand your knowledge base in geosciences, and then 3 electives, which you select with your academic advisor. So you're going to decide like what sort of focus area you want to go in, and then you'll select those courses. There's also an applied project at the end that we call a capstone, and that's to show that you've learned something in the program, right? You can show off your skills and knowledge. So for the 9 required courses, they include geocomputations. Again, this is a calculus refresher. It's calculus for geologists. As it turns out, if you are really good with calculus and you really don't need a refresher, we do have some alternative courses like GIS that you can take. Hydrology, groundwater hydrology, geomechanics, environmental geophysics, aqueous geochemistry, engineering geology, applied engineering geology, and the project design course. All right, so those are all required courses that you will take. They're offered regularly so that you can plan out your program. So if you're taking 1 course a semester or 2 courses a semester, we can plan it accordingly so that you can finish in the time that works for you. Okay, so we have a few questions in the chat. Are there opportunities for international students from the Caribbean to obtain scholarships or grants? I will talk about that in a little bit. Nothing from Penn itself. We don't have, for any of our master's programs in Earth Environmental Science, any sort of funding, but there are, scholarships, outside scholarships you can get. Sometimes people get from their employers or from their governments, additional funding opportunities there. And then given that the program is online, what support system will be there for students who may have challenges or need additional assistance? I will be getting to that shortly, but let me just answer that now as well. Basically, beyond the courses themselves, where the professors they hold office hours, there's opportunities to interact with them via Zoom, phone, whatever works for you. We also have the staff of Sally, Ross, myself, Tony, and we have another advisor, Mitch Cron, in the program, and the whole of all 5 of us are there for you. So our administrative staff, Sally and Ross, can help you out with any issues, billing, registration, so forth. And our advisors, Tony and Mitch, are there to help you select courses. And then if you're struggling with academics, Mitch, Tony, and myself can help you with that as well. Okay, so there's a solid team of people here to help you with any issues you might have. All right, so and then question 3 is, can I do the Master's of Applied Geosciences? I have a Bachelor of Science in Geography and Environmental Natural Resource Management. So it really depends on if you have you need a solid geology or science background, I should say. You do need some good science. So assuming that you've taken some solid science, yes. And why I say that is because a lot of these courses are, they're focused on big issues like engineering geology. So if you don't have a solid core or base in calculus, that may be a struggle for you. We do have the geocomputations course, which can get you up to speed. And we can also, again, when we look at your application, we can see whether or not you would be eligible. But in general, if you have a good science background, you'll be fine. We have had a couple of folks from economics backgrounds that did well as well, I think because of their math background. And then for tuition, is it paid by course or semester? And the answer is it's paid by the course. So it's a la carte. So if you take 2 courses one semester, you'll pay for 2 courses. If you take 1 the next, just 1. So you're not paying like a set amount like an undergrad. And then depending, even if whether you're taking 2 or 6, you pay the same amount. This is per course. Okay, good questions. All right, so I'm going to go on. In terms of the project design course, that was the last course on the list on the last page. This is a course that helps you develop a proposal to complete an applied project and develop professional skills. So in a lot of master's programs, particularly research master's programs, you typically come into the program, you apply the program, you already know what you want to do for your project, and you know which professor you want to work with. In our professional master's program, which has been true since the beginning, 2005, we actually have a different approach. Because we're a professional master's program, we want you to get in and take a few courses before you make that decision. And we want you to meet the professors and learn more about various parts of geology. So we actually have you typically take this course in your second semester after you've had a chance to meet people and take classes and so forth. And then this course will then help you identify a project, figure out your methodology, and then at the end of the semester, you actually select your advisors which is typically 2, and they are your committee going forward. And so we typically want you to have at least a year to work on your project. So that's why we suggest it in the second semester. If you're going slowly through the program and you're only taking 1 course at a time, you might push that off for a year. But typically, we want you to at least have a year to work on your research project. The other part of the project design course is developing a project management plan so that you will get the project done in time to graduate. Okay, so that course will walk you through the whole process of developing your research. You don't have to come into the program with a question or a project already in mind. You don't have to have advisors when you start. We work on that in the second semester. Okay, so but the project itself is applied, and we want you to be able to highlight the skills and knowledge you've learned in the program. And this can then help you with either finding a position, a job, or so forth, or helping you in your career goals. So I've had a number of people in the program who've said, I feel very pigeonholed in my company. I really want to move over and work in this area, but they tell me I don't have the skills and knowledge and I should stay over here. And so I really want to focus on this kind of work so that once I get my degree, I can move over to that division. So we've had a lot of people that do that. We've also had a lot of students who, after completing the degree, have received promotions, pay raises, and so forth in their companies. So it's a really great combination to be working while you're doing this program, and then also reminding your supervisor regularly that you're in this program so that when you finish, you are eligible for raises and promotions and so forth. And if you're just coming out of undergrad and this is you're just jumping right into this master's program, this is an opportunity to show off your skills so that when you do go out looking for a position, you can show off what you can do. Okay. All right. And again, we prefer applied projects over theoretical projects, meaning that rather than a really great project that you and your advisor are like, yeah, this is awesome, and then you put it on the shelf and no one ever sees it again, we want something that can be used. And so we've had students do projects with their companies and with other organizations so that that project can then be used. Past projects, some are somewhat local. We've had students work on landslides in Italy. We've had students work on sinkhole projects here in Pennsylvania, and subsurface fault mapping in New Jersey. So lots of different projects. The last one was actually for his company. So that was really neat. They didn't have the money or the client to pay for it, but they really wanted to know where this subsurface fault was. And so they said, yeah, sure, if you want to do it, great. And so the student went out and mapped the fault with some of our professors. So really neat project. All right, so in addition to those 9 courses that we just talked about, you get 3 electives. And the 3 electives, some of these will seem familiar as you've seen them as part of the certificate, which is why it's so easy to transfer them over from the certificate or from the course taker options into the master's program. GIS, we have two GIS courses. One is modeling geographic objects and one is modeling geographic space. Contaminated site investigation, remediation, long-term stewardship, landslides. Role of environmental professionals in managing contaminated site liability. These are particularly useful in the US. Groundwater flow and transport modeling. And then we have two options if you want to come to campus or want to get some field experience. So the first is the field study of soils. It's offered in the summer. It's a 1-week class. So you'll have classes before and after, but you'll be on campus for 1 week going out in the field every single day. All right. So you will have to come to Penn for that course if you decide to take it. But it's a really great hands-on field course. And the other one is the field methods in geology. And again, another 1-week course, right? It goes from Saturday to the following Sunday. And you'll go out in the field every single day. It's intense, but you'll get all of your work in that time. And again, there will be pre and post online courses, first to prepare you and then to debrief afterwards. So those are two courses that are offered in the summertime and completely optional, but if you want to come to campus or you need some field experience, they're available to you. So one of the questions that a lot of our folks ask is, what does an online program look like? Is this for me, basically? And, we've seen a lot of different types of online programs, especially during COVID. So we just wanted to give you a look at what our program looks like. So first of all, residency, there's no requirement for you to come to campus, all right? However, if you'd like to, the field courses that are based in Philly are the soils and geologic field methods courses. And you can also come to graduation and walk in the ceremony. So that's another opportunity to come to campus. But there's absolutely no requirement for you to do any of that. You do not have to come to campus if you do not want to, but you're welcome. We're always happy to say hi. We have something called the program community. It's on our platform called Canvas. Some of you, if you've done undergrad recently, may have used Canvas or Blackboard or something similar to that. We use Canvas, and you can see here our program community, which is sort of a central location where we communicate with you, the students. You can see announcements here in the middle, different announcements that have been sent out, like add drop is coming, make sure you've got all your courses in line, first day of fall classes, when do they start, events and training opportunities, and so forth. So we send something out every week, and that's actually Ross that does that. And you'll see different information about things that are going on and things that you can participate in, even though you're not on campus. We also have program resources, course planning sheets, and so forth, funding opportunities, and career resources all on this community. So this is like a central place where you can come to learn more and get more information. The other place to go, of course, is your academic advisors, our administrative staff, or myself. In terms of the courses themselves, with the exception of the GIS classes and the field courses that are on campus, all of our courses are asynchronous, meaning that there's no live sessions where you have to attend. That way you can be in any time zone and complete the courses. So they're asynchronous and they're housed in Canvas, as I mentioned before. And so here's the example, a screenshot from Michelle Adams' course on water resources for geologists and environmental scientists. It's a summer class. And again, it's all asynchronous, all online. And you can see here on the right is her homepage, which includes readings and information about her. There's an intro video from her explaining what the expectations of the course are, which is pretty cool. And then you'll get communications from your instructor through the announcements. So you can see some communication she sent, presentations and projects, deadlines, and so forth, questions about the homework. There are discussion boards where students interact with each other. And also there are like question boards where if you have a question, you can pop it in there and the professor will answer, or a fellow student might answer the question. So it's fairly interactive, even though it's completely asynchronous. And then most of the professors have live office hours, or you can set up a time to meet with them individually through Zoom or phone, okay? Now, again, the course is in Canvas, and so this is on the left, this is what a module looks like. These modules open each week. And in this case, I popped up week 6, so you can see that. So streams and stream restoration. And they always start with some sort of intro to the week. What can you expect? That's the video. It says week 6 learning objectives and weekly sequence start here. So you would watch that video from Michelle, and she would explain what to expect and how to do this in order. Then there's media to watch. That's typically videos, lectures from her. Also, there's extra things from outside that she might include with running time. So you can see that the first lecture is 33 minutes. So you'll know how long to expect to spend on each one. And then after that, there will be readings and assignments. Okay. And I think, yeah, so here's some recorded video she has on dams and dam removal. And then you can see the assignments. So each week, like week 7, week 6 was stream observation. Week 5 was using the FEMA National Flood Hazard Layer tool. So each week has specific assignments, discussion boards, video to watch, and reading to do, okay? And you have a full week to complete the module before the next one opens. So it's not like, here's the course, do it on your own. You're literally going through it 1 week at a time, interacting with your classmates through the discussion boards and with your professor through discussion boards and meetings and office hours. Okay, so it's a really interactive program, even though it is asynchronous. And I think that so far our students have really enjoyed it and have liked doing the modules in this way. All right, so we are a professional master's program, so we also have professional development. And that includes some of our faculty are actually professional faculty, meaning that they work in the industry, they work for consulting companies, they work for the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency and other places. Michelle has her own company. Most hold either a professional geologist or a professional engineering license, or in like Tony's case, I think he has both. So these are folks who really know their stuff and can give you good information about what is happening right now in the field. So not just things from books that they learned about in college, 20 years ago. This is stuff they're doing in the field now, okay? Again, that field course that's held in Philadelphia in the summertime is called the geology field course. It's called the Field Methods in Geology. We actually started that course because a number of our students wanted to take the Fundamentals of Geology exam in Pennsylvania, and Pennsylvania actually requires that you have a field course on your transcript. And so a lot of students did not have that for their undergrad. And so we created this course and got it approved by the state. And so we do run that course in the summertime. So if you are in a state that requires a field course, this one will probably work for you. And we can check ahead of time for you if you think that, you're not sure. Some states require, Delaware does not require a field course, and many states do not. Some states are more strict than others. Hawaii, California have some additional requirements. So, but to sit for the Fundamentals of Geology exam, which is the beginning, and you have to do that first before you can start logging hours towards the final exam, which is approximately 5 years that you'll need to do that. You have to take that exam and pass it first. And so every state has the exam, and you'll just have to, we have, I think Sally put it up in the chat. There's a state boards of geologists, and they have specific days and times for the exams every year, and you can apply to the state that you're living in right now. If you're abroad and you want to be licensed in the United States, that's perfectly fine. You'll just have to go through the process. But there's no requirement. There's no requirement for anyone to get the licensure. It's just a nice additional piece to have if you're hoping to move up in your organization, bill out at a higher rate, and so forth. Okay. In terms of our alumni, again, we have over 175 alum in our program, and these are some of the companies and organizations where they work. All right. And they have been an incredible resource for students looking for jobs. So if you are someone who maybe is doing a career change or just coming out of undergrad, these folks call us every day asking if we have students looking for positions. And these companies are often nationwide. Some are in other countries. You'll see here one of our students is actually, let's see, works for the Mineral and Geosciences Department in Malaysia. So we do have students from around the world working in the field. We also, another opportunity for professional development is the Water Center at Penn, and you can work with faculty and outside groups on water policy, hydrology, water infrastructure projects. There are student opportunities for funding to do research. There are seminars and conferences, and many of them are online. And there are occasional internships available in the summer. So if this is something that appeals to you, check them out. They are a really amazing group. And some of these opportunities are remote and you can do them. Okay, we actually have, they have a really big project they're working on in Pittsburgh, and we've had a number of students living in Pittsburgh that were able to work on that project. All right, other opportunities. You can attend conferences. We highly recommend it if there's a conference nearby or that you're able to attend. That's really a great way to network and develop professionally. One of the big ones that I think is a really good one is the Association of Environmental and Engineering Geologists, AEG. They have a national conference every year. They have regional meetings and conferences. The Geological Society of America, also US-based, but has national and regional meetings every year that you can attend. But there are international events as well, and I highly recommend that if you're able to go to one, that especially if it's in the area that you're most interested in or that you think you might do your research on. These are really great ways, again, to network, meet people, get ideas, both for your capstone and for, you know, the things that you're doing in work right now. They can be really helpful. Internships. If you are just getting into the field, maybe just coming out of undergrad and you haven't had a position yet, internships can be a really great way to get started and make sure that this is right for you. So we really encourage students who are coming out of undergrad to get an internship, or if you're doing a career change from another field, great opportunity to get an internship as a student. You should try to do that. If you're already employed, obviously you don't need this, but if not, these are really great ideas. So there are local consulting firms, and we can connect you with various alumni that might be in your area. There's the Environmental Protection Agency, and they have some really great opportunities. There's the urban research stations. We have one here in Philadelphia, but they're all over. And again, another local one is the Delaware River Basin Commission. But there are lots of different opportunities around the world that you can get involved with, right? And potentially get an internship with. All right, a little bit about program stats. There are 15 active students this semester, 14 are part-time, they're working full-time, and they're taking these classes in their free time. And one is full-time, and for Penn, 1 or 2 courses is part-time, 3 or 4 courses is full-time. 4 is the limit. We do not allow you to take more than 4 at one time. Typical majors, I know this was a question earlier in the session, but students should have a science background. Typical majors that have come into the program include geology, environmental studies, earth science, engineering, physics, math, but we'll also consider people who have experience in the geoscience field. So if you're already in a consulting company and you want to buff up your skills and so forth, we'll consider that as well. And this is true for all of both the course taker option, the certificate, and the master's degree. These are the typical majors that we see. All right, so next steps. Application deadlines that are coming up for fall 2024 admission. We start in late August. Our deadline for for applying is July 1st, 2024. If you're thinking of a spring start, our spring semester starts in January, and I should say that it should be 2025, not 2024. Our deadline is December 1st, 2024. Okay, and this will be the deadlines for the certificates and course taker options as well. One note, our application for the certificates and the course taker option are not live yet. only because we're switching our application systems from CollegeNet to Slate. Our master's program are still in CollegeNet, and you can apply at any time. You apply today. We do have rolling admissions, so don't wait until July 1st to apply. Please apply now. Find out if you get in right away. And then we can also start sending you information about what's going on and so forth. For the course taker and certificate options, there on our website, there is a link to a request for information. Get on the email list as soon as we get our application up and running, which should be very soon. You can go ahead and apply to those as well. Okay. All right, application requirements are the same for all. So there's the application, which is online. There are 3 application essays, and depending on what you're applying for, you'll have slightly different essays. Application fee, official transcripts from all colleges and universities that you attended. A quick note, if you went to school outside of the US, you will have to have your transcripts evaluated by an evaluation company like WES or CertFile. And that's true even if you went to Canada or England. So it's not that it has to be in English, it's just that we have a school-wide requirement that all transcripts outside of the US be certified by one of these organizations. If you took all of your courses or you got your degree in the US, you can actually submit an unofficial transcript, but if you get admitted, then you have to submit your official transcripts before you can be fully enrolled in the programs. Okay. We also require a resume, professional resume, 2 letters of recommendation. These can be from professional colleagues, supervisors, or academics. And if your first language is not English, we require a TOEFL or an IELTS score. If your first language is not English, but you feel that you took your undergrad in the United States, or you're living or working in the United States now, and you feel like you don't need to take this test, you can apply for a waiver just by emailing our admissions office. All right, so those are the requirements. And funding, again, in the US, American students can apply for subsidized student loans. So that's one approach. Many companies have tuition benefits, and that's a really great opportunity to take a couple courses a year or a couple courses a semester, depending on your tuition benefit. There are external scholarships, and we do have a list in our box folder of some other places that you can apply for funding. And then our program will help you fund you if you are presenting a technical paper at a conference. So if you go to a poster session or present an oral presentation, we'll help you with funding to go there. We also help with travel subvention awards if your research requires travel, and we can help with research materials funding. So if you need particular equipment or so forth to do your project, we can help with that as well. Okay. All right, so that is it. Does anyone have any questions? All right, I know we went through a lot of stuff really quick. And again, you can type a question in either the Q&A box or the webinar chat box, and we can answer. Thanks, Tony. All right, well, we will hang out here for a few more minutes in case there are any questions. But otherwise, I think, thank you for coming today. I hope that we've answered all of your questions. Sally has put her email address in the chat box. So if you have questions or you want to meet, with one of the advisors to talk a little bit more, feel free to do that. Okay, so Amanda asked, do the course taker courses charge regular tuition? Would they be eligible for subsidized loans? So Yeah, so the course charge is the same for all three programs, the certificate, the course taker, and the degree. The question about eligible for subsidized loans, I would immediately say yes, but actually I don't know the answer to that. So if you want to email Sally after this session, we will look into that and find out for you. We'll contact our SRFS office and which is our Student Financial Services office and get the answer for you because I'm actually not sure. I assume that you can still be eligible, but I hadn't checked. Good question. Okay. Um, and then what's the acceptance rate for the master's degree? It's actually really high. I would say it's at probably 80%. I think that is because our students tend to self-select. The people that apply know what they want to do. They've got the background and experience, and so they typically get admitted. Reasons for not getting in often are just they cannot articulate why they want to do the program, or that they really just don't have the background for it. Like we want you to come to the program and be successful, and that's one of the biggest criteria for admission. Good questions. Um, any other questions? Awesome. All right, well, thank you all for coming. Um, and I think yep, if no one else has any other questions, we'll go ahead and end the webinar. But again, we appreciate you all coming. And again, if you have any questions after this that hadn't occurred to you at the time, you can reach out to Sally, or I can throw my email in here.